I think we are going to get started now. It seems that the attendees logins are slowing down. This is Teresa Perry here at AAM, and I'm being joined today by Chad Jeanette, Senior Audit Manager, which many of you have worked with as a CDS client or in previous locations as he was publisher relations for some time with AAM. Chad and I are both thrilled that we have such a wonderful attendance at today's session that we are hosting, AAM's response to the impact of COVID-19 on periodicals. It's an unfortunate situation that we are hosting this webinar, though, I will say that, but we are glad that we are here to support you as our clients during these very unprecedented times that both you personally and work-wise are experiencing. First and foremost, as we start today's session, we will be upfront that this is a live webinar. It is not a taped webinar, and therefore, if the fire truck goes by the back, you may hear the fire truck. Being in the Chicago suburbs and Chad being in Des Moines, we are going to attempt to make this as seamless as possible, and we are relying heavily upon technology to make that happen. Before we get started, one and probably the most important part of the message that I want to communicate today is that we want you to know that we're here for you as AAM. We have always viewed this as a partnership relationship between our clients and the AAM and the services we provide. And in these times where we went from working in a workplace to working from your kitchen table overnight to those of us with children in our homes, learning what e-learning is all about and how to successfully make progress in the education system, and just simply the stress, not only at work, but the stress of sheltering at home. The number one priority is to ensure that you realize that we are here for you, whatever your work needs are, and to support you through this situation as we continue to progress. In today's session, for the next 50, 60 minutes or so, Chad and I hope to provide to you some helpful information as we continue down the road of this evolving world relationship and this evolving environment that we are within. A few items, though, to get started with before we get the session or the content actually underway is first, on the screen in front of you, you should be seeing the beginning of our presentation. This presentation, along with the audio related to the presentation, will be distributed to all registered attendees, along with posted on our website following the today's event. We'll give you an opportunity to share it within your teams and share it within your staffs and those that cannot participate today. We also received a number of questions in advance of today's session, and those questions we've attempted to incorporate as well as possible within the contents that we communicate. But if you do have specific situations that are affecting your publication or your publishing house specifically, we encourage you to reach out to the audit manager directly and engage in more detailed discussion on those topics. GoToWebinars does offer the opportunity to submit questions in the lower right-hand side of your screen, I believe. You should see that opportunity. I'm unsure with the number of individuals that we have on the line, depending upon how many questions we do receive during the session, if we will be addressing the questions during the session, but assure you that if you do submit a question, we will get back with you directly here shortly with our responses. So with that, I would like to get this presentation underway. With today's agenda is really to cover some of the reporting and modification options that we see for the June 2020 upcoming publisher statement filing period. We're going to be talking about both the magazine media product along with the business and farm product today. We're going to expand upon the FAQs that have been created and have continued to be updated, hosted on our auditedmedia.com website. And then answer the questions within that context that we have received in advance. Also at the end, I would like to briefly introduce a new product that will be coming to you as clients of AAM here within the next few days, and that has to do with an additional solution AAM is about to announce regarding a brand new COVID-19 support tab. So with this, let me start off for those of you that have not been to our website recently, you may have received information through our various newsletters and blogs, etc., and along with outbound emails that we have sent regarding the COVID-19 auditing and reporting FAQs. It's a living, breathing document that's continuing to evolve as the world that we are operating in continues to evolve. But please, it can be accessed directly from our homepage. And here's a visual as far as within the homepage. You simply click on the View the FAQs, and it will bring you to both magazine media FAQs, the business pharma FAQs, along with those of you that may have newspapers within your portfolio, the newspaper FAQs. We do send out notifications frequently as to those being updated, but at any time, come in and gain access to those. We're going to start off, and I'm going to lead the conversation regarding the reporting impact of the COVID-19 and where we stand today as to some of the implications and the relief that we wish to offer publishers with the upcoming publisher statement drive for June 2020. This will evolve, I will guarantee you, as we get closer to the date and as the summer evolves, but we will keep you updated for additional changes, but we wanted to set a benchmark today for what we anticipate for the forthcoming 2 to 3 months. Right now, we continue to plan on opening up our filing tool as scheduled on July 1st, 2020, in the same fashion as we traditionally do at the beginning of each month before the data is due. Currently, we're going to continue to plan to release a magazine media snapshot in early August 2020 for those filing by deadline, and then the farm business by mid-August, again, with the traditional practices and timelines. This, I will note, will be contingent upon the rate of the data that's being received to AAM. We want these products to be beneficial to the marketplace. We want them to have the, to show the strength of the print media brands that you represent. And therefore, we will work diligently, working with you to garner the information to have as timely of a release as possible. But if we do find the need to adjust this slightly, we'll get notification out in advance and we will make those modifications. But right now, we do want to stay on course as possible with the norm wherever we can. We do plan on, with the issuance of the username and password that comes out typically mid-June to our publisher clients in the periodical media, to reinforce any of the deadlines, any of the adjustments of the deadlines, or any additional information that will be forthcoming or modifications to the reporting. So that will be another key next date that we will be planning some communications around. A couple of items that we want to not necessarily impacts the specific reporting, but it impacts data being submitted to AAM. And one of these items that we want to emphasize in today's session is the rapid report that U.S. magazines over 250,000 circulation are required to make. The rapid report continues to be a required product during this period of time that we are in, and it is more valuable now and more accessed now by our buyers than ever before. It is not an understatement to say that we are frequently asked multiple times, has X publication filed? Do you know what's going on with the Y publication with their single copy sales? Do you know the impact of this? Do you know the impact of subscriptions? And the rapid report provides a wonderful tool for buyers and publishers to begin the dialogue and to connect with your buyers that are seeking this information, concerned for you, but seeking this information out as to the impact of what's taking place on your circulation file. It is open to all magazine clients in the United States. Even if you're not required to participate, it's an easy process, it's an easy submission to do. It goes through our publisher filing center, the same place that you are when you file your publisher statements. And we're glad to work with you in getting you set up and running if you're interested in using this tool, even for those that do it voluntarily, just for an interim period of time. It's not a long-term commitment unless you're over 250,000 circulation. So if you find that this would be of use to you to provide current issue-by-issue data up to the most recent issue that you've distributed within the rapid report tool, making it accessible to the buyers instead of waiting until the June publisher statement comes out, please come forth and let us know that we can assist you in this area. Verified circulation, I want to talk just briefly about verified circulation. Has been a topic of conversation with many of our clients of late. And this has to do a little with qualification, but also a lot with to reporting of circulation units. As we know, and as you know, public place rules require for reconfirmation of the recipient location to want ongoing service once every 24 months, and individually requested copies that are verified require a renewal at least once every 36 months for our magazine media clients. Because of the impact of COVID-19, we do understand that there has been a significant change in the ability to reach consumers. It has been a slowdown in some campaigns to renew the individually requested, and to reach out to public places. Has been materially impacted over the last month, and in some areas for the foreseeable few months ahead of us. And therefore, for the June 2020 and into the December 2020 period, until business returns to a more normal state, AAM will not take exception to you continuing to claim and report individually requested that may have exceeded the 36 months, along with servicing public places once they reopen that have not been contacted or reaffirmed in this 2-year, 24-month period of time. Once business returns to a more normal state, it would be our expectation that you would be doing this and to renew and to bring this up to date. But during this interim period of time, those copies, those locations, those qualified individually requested copies could continue to be reported as they have been in the past. The one point that I do want to make here on this slide, and it really is just a reconfirmation, is that, as you know, there's multiple qualities that must be met for a circulation unit to be considered eligible on AAM statements and to be a circulation unit. One of those is delivery into the intended recipient. Who is the intended recipient? And delivery of your magazine needs to occur for a circulation unit to result to that intended recipient. One of the areas that we are frequently asked the question on has to do with public place locations, with public place locations being either unfortunately permanently closed or temporarily closed. Copies that do not make it into the intended recipient, that are returned to you, that are not able to be delivered, should not be considered circulation units, as that qualification criteria has not been met. The same as your traditional undelivered copies that are going to consumer homes in the same fashion. One more note to make on this verified circulation with magazine media clients is that a note that the USPS has also extended, consistent with AAM, the ability to count requested copies that may be beyond 36 months in age. So consistent again with AAM, and AAM is consistent with the U.S. Post Office. They right now are stating on their website that they intend to revisit this July 15th to determine if copies after July 15th that were requested over 36 months in age could continue to be mailed under the requester qualified status. One more note to make is that Heritage Canada's aid to publishers, as some individuals have brought this up as well, for our Canadian clients, is that their qualification to be eligible for credit towards the aid to publisher fund is based upon request, that the aging of a request past 36 months will not impact the qualification of those copies for their evaluation and consideration. Moving here to a couple of other areas of reporting, and really focused on just bringing all of the records together, and with individuals that are trying to bring together various outside vendors, etc., and making sure that all of the reporting is put together is proven to be difficult with reduced staffing and reduced accessibility to some of your vendors due to the impact of them with COVID-19. Is geographic reporting is one of the areas that we believe it's appropriate that if you are having difficulty or challenges with the geographic reporting, bringing your third-party single copy vendor, geographic information with your fulfillment information, etc. Even if you have projected the data into your December statement, feel free to do a second projection from December into June. In essence, what you would be doing there is you're saying my last year, June 2019 geographic projected to by June 2020 geographic. If this would be easier for you to do, if it aids you in lessening some of the work in preparing the data for AAM, this will be accepted for this period for June 2020. We would revisit in December 2020 based upon the condition at that time, but for June 2020, an acceptable practice. The other area that we would like to make comment on has to do with the additional explanatory notes. The additional explanatory notes that we have here is an area that we will be providing you more direct communication with. Probably the middle of June is my guess, in talking with some of our teams internally. We want to give some standardized language, but also the ability for you to customize your communication with the buyers within our document. Communications such as explaining single copy decline due to reduced foot traffic at your retail locations. You know, if you have some specific characteristics, if you have some information that you would like to directly communicate with the buyers, we want you to use the notes section of our report to do this. Changing your planned frequency, your strategy to double up on a summer issue, to issue a July issue versus an August-September issue from what may have previously been scheduled to do, to utilize the explanatory paragraph in that fashion. As I mentioned, probably towards the 1st of June or towards the middle of June, as we know more of what these situations are that you're being faced with and that we will want to expand within our document, we will be getting in your hands additional explanations and additional ideas as to how this could occur. I want to move to the B2B and the farm filing specifically for a couple of slides here, and probably one of the most conversations that we have had with many of our clients in the B2B world has been the impact of the qualification and the reporting of the AGIS source. The AGIS source is required for all non-paid or qualified non-paid publications, and it is as we all know, it's the analysis that we're breaking down the type of circulation that you serve for an issue by 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, the age of the source for that circulation. We know that publishers have their renewal campaigns that have been impacted by the coronavirus. They have had limitations on being able to get into the publisher's location or into the business locations due to the closing of those locations due to individuals being worked from remotely. And the spring is a very high requalification, very heavy requalification time for many of our B2B clients. Due to this and the limited resources that we have available, a couple of areas that we are going to implement is one similar to the consumer magazine verified circulation, is if you have sources that you are not able to requalify, that you had intended to requalify this spring, then we will not take issue with those sources being eligible sources even if they exceed the 36-month mark. They were within 36 months on the December document to be qualified for the December document. Therefore, they are going to be less than 6 months out of date on this document. This is a valid solution. It is something that you can continue to service your qualified recipients to the magazine until business returns to normal, that you can reach out to them to reassess their involvement with the industry that you're servicing. Similar to what I just mentioned on the verified file, the USPS is in agreement with this and will revisit July 15th their ongoing acceptance of direct request over 36 months, again with Heritage Canada as well, accepting this for the basis of the funding. We are offering 3 options for publishers that report the source of subscription and the ages on their publisher statement. The one option that we are offering is to continue business as normal. If your requalification efforts have been successful, if you wish to continue business as normal, make it an actual analysis of the actual issue for this reporting period. If you wish to project from your prior analysis that was done on your December statement, We are also offering you the opportunity to continue to report your sources 1, 2, 3 year based upon a projection from the prior publisher statement. We realize that this may be a second projection, and AAM will accept that second projection. The option number 2 is to make the source of reporting without any ages. Reporting out by your direct request, your association, your list, your acquired circulation, but removing and opting out of reporting the aging of the sources. And the third is to temporarily omit the paragraph completely. That is an option for you. We would ask that each publisher consider what is the best for the marketplace, the media buyers that you engage with, and the market that you are involved with. Which is the best solution for you. All 3 solutions will be provided to you when you go in to file your June publisher statement, and you can select at that time. No pre-announcement or pre-qualification, pre-approval is required. The business occupation analysis, which is similar to your age of source, also has a 36-month guideline in place as to data being reported in the business occupation analysis needs to be within 36 months of age. Similarly, with the source of subscriptions, you've been impacted the same way. You've not been able to obtain, you've not been able to contact those individuals to find and to determine what their updated titles, occupation, etc. is. Again, in the audit process and in reporting on the June publisher statement, AAM is not taking issue with you continuing to utilize the information from the in excess of 36 months. You could report an actual analysis if that works best for you, but because if time constraints are in place, limited resources are in place, in lieu of producing a new actual analysis for June 2020. If you wish to project your results from your December 2019 publisher statement, that will also be acceptable. Moving briefly to the Farm Media Committee, similar to B2B, the age and the degree of farm interest and associated demographics. Our farm media clients that report the demographic information are not required to have their information within 36 months of age, but there is an aging of the information, the age and the months and the of the information. As in the other areas that we've been discussing here, really the AAM publisher statement is intended to show what the normal is. You know, in the future, we may have a new normal, but what is the normal? What would it have been most likely to be? And therefore, not to artificially show a decline in the recency of your relationship with your consumer and the recency of your requalification efforts. It's to show your normal business practices. And therefore, similar to the other paragraphs, if you wish to project your data from your prior publisher statement, AAM will not take exception to that, or you can continue to do an actual statement or an actual analysis when the filing occurs. Geographic reporting, for the same exact reason as for magazine media clients, you may find that data is missing or data is difficult to get to simply because the individuals that are responsible may not be readily available, may have been reassigned, may not be available to you for in an interim period of time. If that's the case and you wish to project your geographic, even if it is a second geographic analysis, AAM will not take issue with this. Mailing address analysis for our B2B clients. This analysis is optional for everyone, but if you do make the decision to continue to report the analysis on this publisher statement, then if it's best for you to project, you feel free to project the information. If you elect to exclude it for this period of time and resume reporting this in December, that is allowed as well because it is an optional reporting paragraph. And similarly for B2B and farm media clients, the addition of explanatory notes. The explanatory notes for many of our farm and B2B clients will be facts surrounding the impact due to sheltering at home requirement and businesses, your copies going into businesses no longer being there. the holding of copies until businesses resume normal business activity, changing of your frequencies, converting from print to digital as individuals are going from working in an office where they receive their magazine, their B2B magazine, to working from home. So all those various types of things we will be discussing in additional communication in mid-June when we prepare additional information regard to the filing. The one more area that I want to touch upon before I hand over the control to Chad is our cross-media participants, those that participate in cross-media and other brand extension third-party verifications. What we've talked about to date on this webinar has been the filing of the June 2020 publisher statement, reporting of data at the end of July for data from the January issue forward. Our cross-media and brand extension tool that we offer for all participants of this program, reporting out your web data, social media, e-newsletter, information, is a living, breathing document. It is a document that can be updated on a monthly basis in period. And therefore today, for those of you that participate in this program or that wish to start participating in our cross-media programs, we have a number of different types of programs that we can offer to you, but it is something that right now we could have out in the marketplace your circulation or your web numbers and your social media numbers for the end of April, for the end of March, and to show the strength of your brand in the digital and what's impacting your brand and your other brand extensions. It is something that I know many individuals get into a routine, because we all get into routines, and that is when you go to file your December publisher statement or your June publisher statement is when we populate the cross-media data as well, so it all appears as a package. If you have any interest at all in letting us help you participate and file this information on a more timely basis, on a real-time basis, let's do it. Let's partner together so that we can, again, push this information out into our buyers' hands as recent as the information is available. What I would like to do now is to actually pass the control over to Chad, and Chad will take us through the COVID-19 rule applications.
Thank you, Teresa. Good afternoon, everyone. Looking at the attendance list, it appears I have worked with many of you sometime over the past 19 years. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Chad Jeanette, and I'm one of the audit managers here at AAM. I hope you all are safe and healthy. Like the rest of the world, our industry is feeling the effects of COVID-19. Many publications are working with limited staff. They're witnessing the effects on vendors. They're experiencing mailing delays. They're seeing decreases in retail foot traffic and significant changes in consumer behavior. So today, I'm going to walk through some of the temporary rule applications that Teresa mentioned that may be utilized during the pandemic, and hopefully address some of the questions that have been submitted. The first is changing in publishing schedule. AAM does not determine the qualification of an issue based on a publisher's original publishing schedule. So when a publishing schedule needs to be modified, AAM will work with the publisher directly to determine the adjustment for the subscriber's remaining copies that need to be served based on the original agreement. Copies served until that original agreement terms are fulfilled will continue to be qualified under the source of the original. And many of you have already done this, but we encourage anyone to contact your audit manager if you are planning on having a temporary change in frequency, elimination of an issue, etc. The next application is that the reporting of the issues published. AAM will continue to report all all issues that were published and delivered by any periodical member during these times, and those claims need to be reflected in the averages. Issues that were published and delivered should not be excluded. So please include those when the June 2020 published statement. There will be an opportunity to explain the impact on COVID-affected issues in the notes section and include data regarding averages both pre and post-COVID. Request for individual use verified and for business and farm publications for qualified direct request. Teresa just spoke about this. Publishers may continue to use non-paid qualification sources that may have lapsed the 36-month period. AAM understands it's proving difficult to reach both consumers and businesses to update these qualification sources. So this application is going to allow the Periodicals division to continue to use the sources greater than 6 months. The plan is this is going to extend clearly through the June 2020 reporting cycle and most likely at least until at least through the first half of the December 20 cycle, subject to change, as Teresa mentioned. As with everything that I am addressing today, or that AAM is addressing today, we will provide advance notice before reverting back to any of our standard rules and practices. Magazine media verified circulation. So those publications engaging in verified and having circulation in this category. The application here addresses the consecutive issuance requirements as it's related to verified. The 2 consecutive issue requirement has been suspended. So publishers that service new public place locations that may have only received one of the issues before the location shut down may still report that one issue as a qualified verified circulation on the AAM reports. The same with a verified individual program. If it was necessary to cease that program prior to the individual receiving the next issue, AAM will not take exception to the reporting of that one issue as verified. As Teresa mentioned earlier, public places known to be closed, delivery should not occur until these businesses do reopen. If my slide will advance, there we go. Single copy sales. With many of the single copy outlets closed and consumers staying home, the likelihood of an impact on single copy sales is more than probable. The notes section of our reports will provide a customized opportunity to describe the change in foot traffic your publication has experienced. This may include issue level data and timing information. Those publications engaging with libraries and businesses receiving copies. Many publishers delivering copies to libraries or public reading areas to businesses are finding those locations closed. So with that, there's really 2 opportunities here. The first one is to hold the missed copies and deliver them upon the reopening of these locations. Upon delivery, these copies would continue to qualify under the original terms as paid circulation, or to suspend the service and extend the paid expiration date to satisfy the original term. These copies would also still qualify as paid under the original terms. Post-expiration copies is the next temporary revision. As attempts are made to secure renewals during these challenging times, AAM has extended the 3-month limitation on post expires. This is to an expanded period of time. You may note in the slide that AAM is not placing an amount of time in regards to use expiration service. Instead of doing, we are requiring that the average number of post-expire copies beyond the traditional 3 months be disclosed in the notes section of AAM reports. This effective date is any copies served after March 9th up to until business resumes as normal. And we are also anticipating that this will go definitely through June 20 and at least part of December 20, subject to more information as it happens. And then just a reminder that post-expired copies must be served consecutively after expiration of a paid term without a break in service. Oh, will we go back one, Teresa? I think there we go. Service of back copies. Rule D, E, and F 7.2 state that an issue becomes a back copy upon the mailing of the next issue in a subscription environment. AAM here has extended the window of service for back copies for new paid, new qualified non-paid, and new verified subscribers, understanding that the goal is to get a copy into the hands of the recipient. Once again, this is effective with March 9th and will continue until further notice or as business returns to normal. Just like any of these temporary applications of the rules, we will expect that this would go back to normal guidelines along with the post-expire information that I shared in the previous slide and other allowances that we are discussing. Late mailing notices. AAM will not currently enforce issues that go out later than the original mailing date was planned. This begins with the March 9th, 2020 date and after. And we certainly appreciate the fact that publishers do make notice in the notes section of the reports when publications are delayed in mailing. We will not require the special disclosure when 15% of the file is mailed beyond an expected delivery date. This once again will remain in effect for the June reporting cycle as well until business resumes as normal or until notification is made to you. Payment window for subscriptions sold but pending payment. This was a question that I believe came in prior to the webinar. There has not been any change in regards to the payment window for promise to pay subscriptions. So individual subs for magazine and farm, the payment needs to be received within 7 months, and for business publications, 6 months. Again, with sponsored sale programs, the participant is expected to pay within the 4-month of the start of service. Converting print paid subscribers temporarily to digital recipients. As I've mentioned, as Teresa alluded to, it's difficult right now to get print copies into the hands of some of subscribers in some situations. So AAM is kind of taking a bit of a step back here, where our current rule provides or asks for an opt-in for a subscriber to receive a digital copy. Here, we are allowing the print copy to be temporarily replaced with a digital copy, providing the criteria below is followed. The first thing, obviously, is that the paid subscriber has to have some sort of access to receiving a digital copy or a digital subscription. So, such as they may have already provided you with an email address. They may be a current subscriber to an e-newsletter or another product that your publication may have, or some other indicator that there is a digital driveway that exists to deliver that copy. The subscriber needs to be notified that their delivery modification, that there will be a modification in their delivery, that they're no longer going to receive the print issue. Instead, they will receive a digital issue instead. If the subscriber should happen to decline the digital issue, then a digital circulation unit may not be claimed for that individual. Upon resuming normal business, unless the original print subscriber takes that independent affirmative action or opt-in to remain a digital subscriber, the service needs to revert back to print delivery. This is a very similar application, but this one is directed to those in print verified and qualified non-paid recipients. It is basically the same allowance with one major factor here. The non-paid, which is the first bullet point there, the non-paid relationship is with an individual recipient, not multi-copy, bulk, or public place. So it needs to be with a individual in regards to the digital conversion. Otherwise, it's the same as the previous slide, still knowing that the recipient has access to the digital copy, like provided, like I stated earlier, providing an email address, some sort of other product distribution, or some way to show that there is a digital driveway to get that issue into the recipient's inbox or however they are digitally accessing that copy. The recipient has been notified, so once again, they still need to know that a digital edition or digital issue is coming their way, other than their print subscription or print issue. If they say no thanks, then a digital circulation unit cannot be claimed for that paid subscriber either. Upon resuming normal business, they do still need to take the affirmative action and say, hey, yes, I do want to remain a digital recipient. Teresa, do you want to give a couple of words here on BrandView?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chad, very much. Yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, I wanted to just take a minute or two to introduce a new product that will be announced by AAM, well, a new add-on to a product that we've had for some time that we will be announcing here in the next few days. For many of you that are participants in our BrandView product, it is simply an overlay, an interface, a new way for our buyers and the users of our data to gain access to your information. What you see in front of you here is a business publication that currently participates in the development and the offering of this BrandView interface, where instead of basically landing on the reports library when you come to the AAM website, you're provided as a publisher the opportunity to demonstrate more of who you are, an overview about what your publication is about, media kit links, the visuals of the publication, along with a variety of other tabs and other information that we make available within our Media Intelligence Center. We will be announcing here within the next couple of days an additive opportunity for publishers that, oops, Chad, can you advance me, please? Oh, there, for publishers that wish to either begin participating in the BrandView interface or that already participate in the BrandView interface by offering a temporary COVID-19 response tab. The purpose of this COVID-19 response tab is really one that you can provide to your buyers who visit the AAM, and that you can send out to your advertisers directly through a customized link, information about how your publication is responding to this virus, how your publication is responding both digitally to the virus, the increase of your digital activity, changing in your distribution plan, as Chad had mentioned, and as we talked about in the explanatory, in the notes section of your AAM document, you can provide that information. But this is front and center to those that visit the AAM website, and the Media Intelligence Center is how your publication has modified its distribution plan in light of these temporary changes that need to be made, along with promoting your community involvement. This is something we're reading every day, and it makes you so proud of this industry, is how this industry has come together to support the community involvement throughout the United States and Canada, for the citizens and the communities, and to provide through the AAM portal information regarding how your publication, how your brand, how your organization has expanded their community involvement to assist those that are in need during this time period. Again, it could be this information, it could be other additional information of how your brand is transitioning, special products that are being offered into the marketplace in response to COVID-19. As I mentioned, additional information will be coming soon to this, but since we were having today's webinar, we wanted to get ahead of this and provide it to the large group of audience that we had present today, to be on the lookout for this information. It is something that we are there to assist you in building out your brand views, and if you're interested in participating in this program, actually on the recording, on the recording of the session that will go out to all registered attendees, we will also provide an additional link to the COVID-19 Brand View Build Out tab, and also the opportunity for you to make direct contact with AAM if you're interested in seeking support to take advantage of this program and to take advantage of the interface, be it the basic Brand View if you're not currently a participant there, but also the enhanced COVID-19 tab. And we are there to support and to help you get this word out to the buyers that come and visit the AAM website. So with that, we do want to thank you for participating in today's session. As I mentioned, a recording will be emailed out to all that are registered, along with being posted on the auditedmedia.com website. We encourage everyone to stay up to date with the latest FAQs that are also made available on our website, and the audit management and all of AAM is here to help and to support you during these times, and any times with our relationship as a client of AAM, we want you to know that we are here to give you support. I think we are done. I'm not seeing any questions. So with that, stay healthy, everybody, and stay safe. Thank you.